being, and we're live. Here we are. It's a Sam Raoul. It is the Martin Fowler Scrum. Yeah, Raoul, how are things going with you?
Been busy. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of things to take care of on the side. Last weekend I was attending a hackathon that we sponsored. ThinkBot and Craft Academy SE was sponsoring a hackathon where we gave away 2 spots for our next upcoming cohort in August.
Fantastic.
So yeah, the hackathon went from Friday till Sunday, so it was a good opportunity for us to market the company and the boot camp itself. So yeah, that was my weekend, and after that, Monday, Tuesday, I had some clients projects to take care of and Craft Academy to handle as well. Been trying to follow up a little bit on website 1 through the channel, and yeah.
Yeah, and anything blocking you at the moment of any kind?
Not at the moment. Nothing particular at the moment.
Good.
Everything is going fine. It's under control so far.
Excellent. and plans. What are you planning?
So today I have to follow up on some applicants for the bootcamp, and yeah, I have a client project to finalize and deploy quickly as well this week. Yeah.
All right. Good show. Sounds good. Yeah. The project. What tech is that in? Is it Rails, JavaScript?
It's just a website. I'm gonna say can I say below? No, it's not a Rails project. So it's a this one I worked on it in PHP using Laravel.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's a website for an architecture school in Cameroon, and so I needed to have a CMS for them, and I couldn't find a good one in Rails, so I had to go with I found a good one in PHP called October CMS, and I just integrated that with the site that I built for them. Yeah. So
I think it was. I mean, I think there's still, something that Ruby. I mean, I remember back in the day trying to get a CMS system set up, and there was one in Rails, but it was never as fully featured as the ones that were available in PHP. Drupal and Plone were the ones we were looking at back in the day. And there's something about Rails. I don't know why it doesn't. Yeah, it would be nice to have a better picture of the whole, availability of things. I always feel like we're kind of like, only seeing part of the elephant, if you know what I mean. Cool, interesting. Yeah, so
I got that running, and I'll just deploy that, and yeah.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. Well, then
much as we love Rail, we have to use the tools that does the job well.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I think the end of the day is, however much we love, a particular tool or platform or a stack or a particular way of doing the craft. Bottom line is, are we delivering value to the end user? And you've got to balance that up. Yeah. So great. Well, good check-in. On my side, we're doing so. We're kind of. I mean, Michael and I have got into a reasonable groove of kicking out things for website 1. We've got the whole. The premium thing is live. We haven't. I mean, we did that first mailing, which was just to a sort of a subset. I mean, the older core users. We didn't really receive any additional feedback on that. I mean, I guess I did have a few contacts from people who were sort of talking to me about, mentioned some internships and job possibilities, which I passed on to the premium people. We haven't had any new signups, and we could sort of see from the analytics that people were reading the premium page. They're spending like a minute and a half on average on it, and we could see a handful of people getting through to the charging page, but obviously no one clicking the button, which is sort of it would have been after the initial few signups. It would have been great to have had a handful more. Yeah. I mean, am I now putting a lot of people off the community by the presence of these things or not? But we'll see. But yeah, so the thing that we've really been focused, Michael and I've really focused on this week, website 1, is trying to improve the experience still for the MOOC people who are pairing, and we're actually getting a lot of analytics data out directly from the system now. And actually yesterday we were working on CoffeeScript for the Hangout connection. And there's just lots of exciting stuff there. Actually, I mean, there's nice unit tests or Jasmine tests on the CoffeeScript for the Hangout connection, and that inspires me to get some similar sort of tests for the Agile bot, which is also in CoffeeScript.
Agile bot, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, basically, there's so many little bits to tweak and sort of improve and whatever. Basically, I could spend forever really working on it. I think what I am quite pleased, the big change, if I'll just highlight, and I welcome to Puneet as well. The big change I'll just highlight that we have is now that, so we should be able to see this here, is we made a change to the way in which the site handles incoming data from the Hangout connection, and that means that this bug, I think now, this will now stay live here until we actually finish the broadcast in the Scrum in the way that it was intended, and so we can kind of see, if we look at the past events, so we can see this is green here and so on. And I think that's a big step forward.
Yeah.
Yes. And what I would love to do is kind of merge some of the functionality that we have in here. We've just got some, and this is just interesting, we've got all three of us in here. The new pull requests that we have, we just look at the website one. I'm going on too long. I don't know when to stop talking, do I? Pull requests. So we actually, we also discovered that it kind of, the participant data is not, it doesn't store all of it. So this is another change that will allow all of the participant data to be stored. And just generally making, if there is activity on the site, we want people to be able to see it so they can come and get joined in. So there we go. So that's.
I'll check those pull requests today and
Oh, cool.
Try to merge them.
Nice one. Yes. So we're not really blocked on anything. I've got my son starting a new school, and there was this sort of bug that I pushed out. Those bug fixes I pushed out yesterday took up time, and I'm just a bit behind. So I guess I should stop talking and start doing the plan. I've got to I've got to try and address. There's lots of people who are sort of providing, saying, our peer review wasn't fair in the MOOC, and they want reviews. Working with Armando towards the project course, and he wants. I think what he really wants is to have the projects section, so that you can actually have a better measure of activity of the different projects, so that when all the new projects that come into the site through the project course, the people who are serving as project managers will be able to have like a dashboard kind of view. Anyway. But so I'll be speaking to Armando on Friday more about that. But for the remainder of the week, I think Michael and I just trying to continue polishing and improving that user experience. There we go. Yes. Apologies for the longish summary. But Puneet is here as well. Puneet, how are you doing? You're muted at the moment, Puneet, if you're trying to tell us how you're doing.
Okay. Yeah. Are you able to hear me?
We can hear you now. Yes. How are things with you?
Good actually. There's. Just give me a moment.
Give me.
I'm hearing a lot of voices, some from my side and some from your side. Not sure. Okay.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah. So I finally got some time to work on this issue. I think issue 759.
Oh, really? Wow, fantastic.
Yeah. So I just started doing prerequisite homework, or whatever you call it. Going through the whole conversation. So the first thing is, what I'm thinking of is having some sort of interface for project tracker API. Behind the scenes, there will be concrete instances of project trackers. For example, it can be Jira, it can be Pivotal tracker. So I'm not yet. I don't have complete design yet, but yeah, this is what I'm thinking of. Okay. Next thing is treating Waffle as a project tracker. I am not sure, because though Waffle have a sort of this agile board where you can move things, like where you can move bugs between the various states, for example, ready, production or something, but Waffle doesn't have any sort of API from which you can pull all these data. actually. At least I didn't find anything on their website.
No, I think in principle it's the GitHub API because all of the information in Waffle is stored in GitHub. So if we look
Yes.
at, yeah, I mean anything about the ready, the in progress, and so on, they're all tickets. Or sorry, they're all labels, right? So
Okay.
I mean, I guess the thing I would say there is, in terms of working on this, I would say that the important thing is to kind of be trying to slice it down into the smallest thing you can do that can have a change as a positive impact for the user. So there's kind of a bigger project which you're kind of alluding to there. I've got so many windows open with the projects like that. If we go into an individual project, we've got this functionality that allows us to provide the activity, which I'm not sure if anybody uses. I mean, it's a nice, you know, example feature of something that can be done. But what I would be tempted to do is, rather than worrying about whether we can support this kind of activity view for all of the other trackers, is the way I would approach it is to have it so, you know, if the pivotal tracker happens to be there, sure, but we can just basically have the activity tab disappear if in the first instance it's a different kind of URL that's been pasted in. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, can you explain last part of it? You know.
Sure.
I'm confused about.
As usual. Sure, no problem. And I'm my apologies. I do speak too fast, and I'm having medication to try and help with that, but it's not really helping, as you can tell. But so if we look at, for example, website 1, and if we edit the project details, so it seems to me that the key thing here is that this, like the changes that I would make in the first instance, is I would make this be called track. I would remove references to pivotal tracker in the interface. Basically, you know, this would be like tracker link or whatever it should be. Basically, allow the user in here to like type in like I mean, I guess like actually we are using the waffle rather than the thing. So what like if you consider me the user, what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to submit that into there. Now at the moment, if I do it, it's going to say project was not updated, and it's going to say invalid pivotal tracker URL, right? This is actually, you know, the URL that we use. The functionality that I'm really interested in is basically that people who are landing on this page can see that this link here would point to the waffle and not to the pivotal tracker, right? So the fact that this activity stuff is here, like, it would be fine by me that if I was able to paste the waffle link into, you know, edit the project so that it had a waffle link here, that this activity, like, you know, when it tried to do the lookup for the pivotal tracker API, that basically just said, oh, okay, it's not a pivotal tracker API link. In the first instance, it would just say, okay, then no activity, and it would, like, you know, either show nothing here or just the tab would disappear. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Okay. So the first step is allow users to have any sort of project tracker link they can paste, right? Means it doesn't matter whether we are able to pull out the activity stream from the project or not, depending on the whatever API. Okay.
That's right. I mean, we can check that it is a URL and then it goes somewhere. I think, you know, it should be a URL. It needs to be accessible rather than like we don't have one yet or what have you. I mean, if you don't have one yet, you don't have one yet. Yeah, and you see how this breaks up this story, because like being able to display activity from Waffle, from Jira, from whatever, they're each their own quite complex stories by themselves, and it's also not clear necessarily how much, you know, implementing all of that kind of delivers value to the user.
Sure,
you know,
sure.
Yeah, you know, we might find
not
that. Go on.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go on. You say.
Yeah, means overall, whatever I was describing earlier includes a lot of code changes, which right now we might don't have a clear picture on how much it will provide a positive value or impact sort of thing. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah, and I think what, you know, by implementing a thing that allows people to post different links in there, what that will mean is we might see in, like, you know, if there are 5 new projects started and people all use Pivotal Tracker, it's like, okay, well, it's yeah, exactly. We kind of want to, and that's sort of the process that Michael and I are using at the moment, is we're pushing out the absolute minimum changes and then seeing how the user interaction with the site changes or gets worse or improves or whatever, and using that to kind of tell us what's the next best thing to work on. And that's kind of the essence of the Agile process to me.
Okay, I think it makes sense. So, do you think creating a separate issue for this will be okay, and making it as a part of this as one of the checklist?
Well, what I would that's an interesting thing there. What I've tended to do is if there's a bigger, I mean, what I think if we look at the the letter of the story, it's basically saying, accept these kind of links, and this was the original request from the thing, and we've got a note here saying this does not include a separate Jira tab similar to what we have for Pivotal Tracker. And so, I mean, I wouldn't worry too much about, the important thing is for any discussion, not to necessarily believe anything that people say. I mean, what I would say is we can close this ticket out when we can post one of these, alternative links in. And I think you could create other issues for support, API view active activity for Waffle, for Jira, for what have you, create other issues, and they could go into a larger epic of a project epic, but I wouldn't make it so that it's kind of like a checklist for closing this issue is doing those other things. Do you know what I mean?
I understand.
So this particular issue for me, Ed, was just about being able to submit different link than other links than Pivotal Tracker. That's all we needed with this issue.
That's right.
So that if you're using Jira or Waffle, you are allowed to submit those links. Because at the moment we're forcing people on the site to use Pivotal Tracker. If they don't put Pivotal Tracker, they can't submit any other link than Pivotal Tracker. So this is all we want with this story.
Okay.
Raul. So, and what I was saying there about how I think that this is kind of the critical Agile process, does that match with your perception of the Agile process? I think I see time and time again, it seems to me, maybe I'm deluding myself, that people always seem to want to, oh well, if we do this, then we'll have to have this, and we'll have to have this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and we're all fantastic as human beings about anticipating all of these problems that might occur, and you can then go off and you start, the biggest danger is you start coding all of this extra stuff or exploring it or what have you, and in the time that you've been doing that, you could have released, like a small change to get feedback on, validating your initial assumptions, and I don't know, that's the essence of it all, really. Sorry for laboring the point. I mean, my wife tells me that I'm awful at this. I carry on explaining it. People are already desperately sick of my voice, and I carry on. But I'm excited about that idea. That's it's like, Agile Ventures is like trying to get that across to the whole world. I mean, anyway, I'll stop there. But Puneet, anything else you need to help you work on this, or you're good now?
I think that's it. That's all for now. But there's one thing. I think it will be good to add URL validators for Jira or Waffle, right? Means we just don't allow. Means we don't want to allow users to just paste any link and get away with it, right?
Well, rather than me carry on speaking, Raul, what do you think of that suggestion from Puneet?
Okay, so the thing right now is that we have a validator in place for Pivotal Tracker, and it would make sense to have one, since we limiting people to. But then again, it's going to be limiting people to those tools only. What if someone else comes tomorrow and says, "Hey, I'm not using Waffle, I'm not using Jira or any of the tools you guys support, but I'm using this thing." It means we're going to have to come and write another validator for that specific link at the end of the day. But in terms of security and making sure that people submit the correct link, I think the validator would make sense to have in this case. Yeah.
I think it's an interesting point about the whole policy of Agile Ventures and how we approach things. I mean, the thing I would, and maybe this has been the wrong. I'm just trying to turn the screen here. Maybe it's been this policy that I have always imagined for Agile Ventures, which is maybe the wrong one. Why can't I? So many different test versions of Agile Ventures. It is, we basically allow anybody who's signed in to create a project, right?
Yeah.
And anybody can create a brand new project. If I just go back to projects, anybody, I should just click that, can come here, right? And anybody can basically decide to not paste anything in here, and they can say in here, we are using foobar tracker.
Yeah.
See here for link, right? And then it's like HTTP. Blah, blah, blah. So I feel like part of the problem in some ways is that with any kind of validator, right, we're kind of basically saying to the user, you've made a mistake, we're not going to accept what you're submitting. I sort of feel like we should, whatever the user submits, we should always accept it. And rather than validating it and kind of throwing their data away, I mean, we don't throw their data away because they're in there, is that should be then like a blemish, as it were, on the project, right? So, it's kind of, I think a more sensible bit of feedback would be, oh, by the way, your URL is broken. But I think we shouldn't kind of prevent people submitting what they want to submit, because the other thing is, as we saw with the Pivotal Tracker, with the fix that Raul had to make, is that Pivotal Tracker changed their, formatting of their URL in validating our thing. And so, we could put some validator in there for Waffle, in there for Jira, but they changed their thing, and then suddenly, it's I mean, I sort of feel like the permissive approach is the way to go. It comes back, if I make it to the agile thing here, is adding validators for this for Jira and Waffle makes this a more complicated story, right? It means that there is more work, that it kind of ends up being more work to be completed before the pull request comes through. It means the pull request gets bigger, and it means it's longer before the thing is actually delivered, and we see, whether users are even using this at all. I mean, we don't have that many new projects being created at the moment. So it seems to me that, using our simplicity scalpel, let's boil down to what's the absolutely simplest change that we could make, which seems to me, in the code associated with this, is basically just accept the link, whatever it is, right? We can do the pivotal validator check to check whether we show the activity page, but otherwise just allow any kind of link. And then, if we get hundreds of people making projects and it's a problem that, okay, 30% of them have misformatted their link, right? Oh yeah, then we need, it's almost like this is the danger. If we anticipate the problem and code to solve it before we actually experience the problem, then we end up potentially doing a lot more work than we need to do. Does that make sense, Puneet? Puneet, you're muted.
Yes. Yeah.
So I mean, if what I would say is, because it's a concern of yours, or you thought that you can create a new issue to say, oh, Waffle validator. I mean, that would be, the Waffle validator and the Jira validator would be an important part of using the API, because we wouldn't want to be reaching out to the API if we had the wrong URL, right? So what I would be tempted to do is, any of the ideas that you have, put those, just go nuts opening new issues. I think we definitely want to hear everybody's thoughts on what are valuable things to do. And then if someone else is inspired to work on it, that's fantastic. But what we want to make sure is that for any bit of actual coding work that someone starts on, that we can get it coded and finished and in a small pull request and deployed to kind of see, to sort of assess its utility as quickly as possible.
Sure.
All right then. So I think we probably, draw the Scrum to an end there. I'll be online. You can obviously, anytime you want me to go on about why Agile is so cool and how to do it and do things more simple, I'm just available. I'll come and speak at any location, anytime, and go throw up at the mouth saying about how Agile makes the world go round. And we'll see. I mean, ultimately, it will all look and sound, and it'll be wonderful in retrospect once the Agile Ventures reaches critical mass. And everyone's like, wow, how did you do it? And I said, well, let me tell you. Anyway. So here we are. So anything else we need to quickly work out, or I think we're done?
Nothing from my side.
No, okay. Puneet, are you looking to pair with somebody on this story?
No time for pairing.
No. Okay. Cool. Well, I'll look forward to hearing more about it as you make progress. And yeah, we'll definitely need to try and sort that Phantom JS thing out, don't we, Raoul? But I guess we can maybe talk about that on Friday in the kickoff.
Yeah, I'll see if I can make time to look at it before the kickoff. Yeah.
Nice one. All right.
Okay.
Bye for now, chaps.
Cool.
See you soon.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.